Hi there, everyone. If you don't know me, my name is As One Plays Everything. But in this channel, you can call me Chase. Specifically, we're going to be chasing thoughts today. Chasing thoughts with Chase. Hey! Anyway, so I decided for my first episode of this podcast, I just went around and asked a bunch of my friends questions. Yeah, so I got like 21 questions I need to answer, and we're going to tackle them one by one, and I'm going to try answering them to the best of my ability. The first question I'm going to answer, even though this is number 3 on my list, but I feel like it's appropriate starting question. What made you want to start a podcast? And this was actually asked by 2 people. The first person to ask this was my friend Dawson, and then my second person was Ava, who I believe is in chat right now. Ava, if you wouldn't mind saying something. The podcast first started as kind of a way for me to talk about serious subjects in a place that was not the main As One Plays Everything channel. Because the goal for the As One Plays Everything channel was to kind of distract you from the dreariness of the world for a moment. But I also wanted a channel where I could tackle those issues head on and then offer how I think we could tackle those problems as a society together. Then it evolved into what I called the Generated Podcast, which never really took off because I never really liked the idea. And now it is Chasing Thoughts with Chase, where I just kind of talk about whatever I feel like and just ramble about whatever. Some of it's going to be funny, stupid stuff. Some of it's going to be serious stuff. But overall, this is stuff I seriously and genuinely care about. And in the context of like wearing formal clothes, part of this is so you know when I'm serious. When I'm taking off the jokes, when I'm taking off the other silly stuff that I do on my channel, and I get serious. I put on the suit, I put on the bandana, and I put this outfit on, and I get serious. So that's why I wanted to start the podcast. Next question after that is asked by a friend of mine named Dolan. He said, what is your favorite thing to do? I feel like this should be obvious. My favorite thing to do is play video games. My second favorite thing to do is to learn about video games or art. I love learning about both of those things. And it's part of the reason, I'm not sure if any of my artists know this, or Ava. I think I've discussed this with Ava before. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I did it with a different artist, but not you. Part of the reason why I want to kind of slow down on commissions in the future is because I want to learn how to draw art myself and learn how to make that art myself. Because I think that would be absolutely amazing if I could make that art myself. But yeah, to simply answer that question, short answer is play video games. And then the next question on the list is, what is your most memorable life experience? And this was asked by Shay. So my most memorable life experience was when I went on Trek for the first time. And for those of you who don't know what Trek is, so basically, a little bit of a location reveal here. I live in Utah. I'm not going to say where in Utah for the people, but I live in Utah. So you would go up to like the border between Utah and I think Wyoming. And there's like this 30-mile long trail. And you hike over that trail over the course of 4 days. And the idea is supposed to simulate kind of what the pioneers went through back in the day. And that was an incredibly humbling experience for me the first time I went, because the first time I went, I was... Okay, so for context for this, before I went on Trek for the first time, I was a super shy person, and I didn't talk with much of anyone. I kind of had like this stranger danger, had a lot of social anxiety, and then I went on Trek and I realized that trying to pretend to be someone that I'm not is not only a waste of effort, but it was actively holding me back from being the best version of myself I could be. So, yeah, I definitely I definitely do love. So yeah, that's my most memorable life experience, is the first time I went on Trek. What is my favorite Christmas activity? And this one's an easy one to answer. So my family has a tradition where every Christmas Eve, we watch the movie The Polar Express. Very good Christmas movie. I'd recommend you watch it at least once if you haven't already. But I actually have a specific moment for me. So when they get to the part in the movie where they're serving hot chocolate and they have all these guys dancing and serving hot chocolate, I go in and I make myself a hot chocolate and then I start drinking it when the song's over. I timed it perfectly last Christmas, and I plan on doing so again this Christmas. So that's the answer to that question, Michelle. So number 5 is, what state is the best state to live in and why? Asked by Daniel. So I have lived in these states across my lifetime. I have lived in Georgia, Indiana, Hawaii, California, and Utah. And those are the 5 states I remember. I could be missing 1 or 2, but those are all the ones I can remember living in. My favorite state I lived in is Utah, because I've lived here for most of my life. Just because it's Utah. So, yeah, that's about all I have for that one. So, yeah, that's the answer to that question. This question was asked by Kaylee. What is the best meal you have ever eaten? Gonna be straight with you. So, it's called Moroccan couscous. So, you ever seen couscous noodles? I'm actually gonna pull them up. Just give me a moment. Anyway, so this is Moroccan couscous right here. The image on the screen is Moroccan couscous. So, the first time that my mom made this, it was absolute heaven. And this is, to my day, one of my top 3 favorite meals to ever have. Like, and also unrelated on this note, so our family has a tradition where on the person's birthday, they get to choose what to have for dinner. I usually choose Moroccan couscous because it is that good. Okay, so number 10 here is my favorite question, and this is asked by my cousin Cade. First off, hello Cade, how are you doing? Second off, the question is water wet? Is water freaking wet? You could have asked me any question, and that is the question you choose to ask me. Well, let's get this question answered. Cue the Vsauce music. Anyway, so in order to figure out if water is wet, we have to first figure out the definition of wet. So we're going to pull up our computer screen again and go do some on the impromptu research, because I forgot to do this beforehand. So there's a lot of definitions. Oh my goodness, there's so many. But all the definitions of these, wet is not something that water is. Wet is something that happens as a result of making contact with water. It is not an inherent property of water. So therefore, I am making the claim that water is not wet, and if you want to argue with me, look it up and give a different explanation yourself. So the next question, and this one's even just as stupid as the last one, is what is it like to be the luckiest person alive? I'm not kidding you. This is an actual question asked by my friend Shad. Again, from the YSA. I am not the luckiest person alive. Do you want to know who would be the luckiest person alive? The person who, through all odds, scores a 100% on all the multiple choice questions on the SAT by guess. And to just give you an idea of how low those odds are, there's a person I like named XKCD. He's a kind of funny comic book man / physicist. He did the calculations, and the odds of you scoring a 100% on the multiple choice section by just guessing are worse than every living president and every individual member of the cast of the show Firefly getting struck by lightning individually all on the same day. You are more likely to have that event happen than get 100% on the SAT. By guess. So, don't go through guessing and expecting a good score because it will never scientifically happen. So, the 12th question is a lot more sensible, but trigger warning if you are religious, because this is a religious question. What would I say if I had 5 minutes with Jesus in person on my podcast? And this was asked by chat. There are two main things I would ask, and this is because I am a silly person. The first thing I would try and ask, and I probably wouldn't get a straight answer, but that would be okay with me, is what Lucifer was like in the premortal existence. Like, what kind of person he was. I'd like more context on this. What made him decide to take the fall and try and, go the plan that he did. The second thing I would ask is, when you perform miracles, is there like some kind of magic, or like creating the earth or whatever, doing big grand acts like that? Is there magic behind it? And if so, how would one wield it if they got the chance to do so in the afterlife? Because these are things I want to know. I want to know, is magic real? Can I use like magic to freaking teleport? And we just can't yet because we don't understand it. Or is there something else to it? I don't know. Number 13 is asked by my friend Spencer. Who is your favorite character in anime and why? I don't watch a lot of anime. I mean, I look into it a bit because I really like the art style of anime. But I don't watch a lot of anime because I'm terrible at binging series. Out of all the anime I've watched, I'm probably gonna say out of all the characters I've watched, Mokuba from Mokuba Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh! Because he loves his brother, he looks up to his brother, and I just absolutely like that. And in terms of where I'm at in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, I'm in the middle of the Duelist Kingdom arc. So I'm not very far into the anime at all. So I'm not very excited to see where they go with both Seto Kaiba's character and Mokuba Kaiba. But out of the two, I like Mokuba Kaiba more because he's less of a jerk and he's also cuter. We are finally here to Ava's question that she asked me, her unique question. What are your goals in life? And I'm just going to say this right now. This is an insanely difficult question for me to answer because I, as a person, have a hard time setting goals. But overall, I have an end goal that looks something like this. I want to make enough off of YouTube and streaming that I can live off of that alone if I have. And then I have a part-time job that I'm working. Maybe I work here, maybe I work somewhere else. That I do because I enjoy serving other people. Not because I need the money, not because any of that. Simply because I enjoy serving people. That is what I want to do. That is my end goal. And if you want to support me in that, like and subscribe. I'm sorry, I had to put that in there for the video. Okay. Number 15, asked by my good friend Deacon. And honestly, I am impressed with you, Deacon. First off, he's my only patron on Patreon. You should definitely go support me there if you really want to. It's only $1.30 per month. But second off, I know Deacon, and I half expected him to ask like a stupid brain rot question with like the word skibbity in it somewhere. But no, what he asked was a much better question, thankfully, and it is, what is my favorite video game of all time? My favorite video game of all time, honestly, is Angry Birds Epic. That was just the perfect video game for me. I loved that video game. I had a lot of fun with playing that video game. I had a lot of fun memories playing that game and just finding the most broken combos I could think possible. And let me tell you, when Rovio took that game down along with a whole bunch of their other ones, I got royally ticked off. I'm like, why the hell would you do that? These games were so successful. They were the crux upon which your fame was built, and you just swiped it all down. I was so mad about it. I still am kind of mad about it today, but I've mostly moved past it. But believe me, if Rovio ever releases that game, I am going to be the first to pre-order it. Like, I don't care if they make it, like, so you have to pay to play. I don't care. I'm going to, like, charge me $5 for it. I'll be the first to pre-order the stupid game. Because I love that game so much. So, number 16 was asked by Philip, and he said, iPhone or Android, and why don't you choose the other side? This is a tough one, because I know that whichever side I choose, there's going to be someone who's, like, going to be upset at me for choosing the other one. And I am iPhone for the pure reason that I have been using iPhone all my life, and I do not want to have to transfer all my contact information and everything over to an Android, even if it is better. Even if it's cheaper, even if it's better, I would not want to transfer all that over suddenly. Now, if my phone stopped working and I was, say, getting a new one and they said, oh, do you want an iPhone or an Android? I'm picking an Android. I don't care about the green text. If you're the kind of person that says, oh, I want to break up with you because you have a green bubble on your text, and it was never meant to be anyway. Number 17, and I really like this card idea, and I really like this question. Thank you for asking it, Alan. It is, what is your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card? I've been watching the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, and I've also been playing Master Duel for some time, just for fun. But my favorite card, honestly, has gotta be specifically Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon. Because someone made like a 3D render of it in an animation they made, and it looked so clean, and it looked so sick. And honestly, its 6 wings kind of reminds me of my own OC that I have on this channel, so there's that. And number 18 was asked by my co-worker, Corey, and he said, what motivated my mom to open her bakery? So I actually went up to her earlier today, and I said, hey, someone asked this question, and I'm going to answer it on the podcast. Why did you open it? And her response was, so that I could give my children a place to work. That was her answer. Number 19, and this is very similar to number 14, question number 14 by Ava, but this was asked by my coworker, Angel. It is, where do I see myself 10 years from now? Terrible foresight, but the ideal place I want to be is I have my gold play button, and I'm making videos, and I'm making people's days with those videos. And then with both the podcast and the main channel and my other channels. The last 2 questions are asked by my friends Warner and Paige, who I'm going out with a camping trip, probably after I post the first episode of the podcast. So thank you to them for giving me questions. This was Paige's question. Why did I start making YouTube videos? So I first figured out YouTube was a thing back, I think, like 2014 when Dan TDM was peak, and I watched his Dr. Trevorrow's videos, and I really enjoyed them, and that was when the first idea came to me, oh, I could actually make money with that. And then the YouTuber that inspired me to start my channel was a random YouTuber named Too Many Raptors, and he had videos I enjoyed at the time. I don't watch his content as much anymore, but I watched his older videos. I really enjoyed them. And that's when I made the channel. And believe it or not, I was kind of a bit edgy at the time, and I named the channel As Wender Ender Lost Spiral Gamer because I was watching Beyblade at the time, and I liked Louie's Beyblade Luinor. That is not a lie. That is actually why I named it that. Eventually, I just went with I just cut the As Wender Ender part out because I figured I don't want to give people a stroke every time they read my name. And it's just As When Plays Ever. So, and then I started, like, around 2020, I started joking around with posting videos. And then I didn't actually get serious about it until 2022. And then the 21st question, and this is the one that I'm probably the least qualified to answer out of all of these questions, is what is my advice for getting started on YouTube? Well, if you want to get started on YouTube, I've heard so many people say this, and I've kind of applied this. Take a look at what other people, like the big YouTubers in whatever niche are doing. Take a note at what their YouTube things are, how they structure their videos, how they edit, the different effects they use, and then you kind of take inspiration from that. You take from like my advice would be take your top 3 favorite YouTubers, take what you like most about them, add your own unique spin to it, and generally you will get unique content almost all the time. And then my second piece of advice is to post consistently. The YouTube algorithm seems random, but if you post consistently, it'll give you a better chance at appealing to the algorithm. I do also know that Ludwig and then another YouTuber conducted an experiment. Use YouTube Shorts. It is such a powerful tool. I need to start using YouTube Shorts more on my main channel, and I am definitely going to start using it more because of how powerful YouTube Shorts is at drawing attention to your channel. It is such a powerful tool. And if that's what you want your whole thing to be, you can absolutely do that. Hey there, everyone. Thanks for watching this episode of Chase and Thoughts with Chase. I'll have another episode come up same time next week. Well, maybe not the exact same time next week, but same days on next Friday. And I have not figured out what that one is going to be because I am literally finishing up recording this episode as we speak. But yeah, I'll figure it out and it'll definitely be a fun time. So thanks for watching and see you later.